me do a quick one with Chrystia Freeland, because nobody's going to really care about it. Chrystia Freeland, you might remember her. Twitchy McGee is what they used to know her as up in Canada. She used to be the deputy prime minister of the country formerly known as Canada, or it's still known as Canada. Chrystia Freeland. Does everyone? Oh, hold on. This I need to know how many people are new here. And this is not to generate chat in the chatter chat. 1, yes, you know who she is. 2, no, you don't know who she is. And this will at least indicate how many new faces are in the chat. Chrystia Freeland, because I don't want to play the videos of her in the backdrop, like jerking her head around like the demons out of Jacob's Ladder. And if anybody gets that reference, sorry, hold on. Sir, Rabbi Schwarz and McShekel, just put the word war in front of it so it's a little less. And now I forget if 1 was yes and 2 was no, but okay, so it looks relatively split up. Chrystia Freeland was the deputy prime minister. She was the second in command in Canada, basically. It's tied right after Justin Trudeau. When you watch videos of her, and if you've seen the movie Jacob's Ladder, when Jacob what's his name, Tim Robbins was overheating and always had his demonic flashbacks to war, there would be these like gyrating blobs with like amorphous heads just gyrating around. That's what Chrystia Freeland looks like. She looks like also the demon out of the movie Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland. She's been at the helm of Canadian policy to support Ukraine at all costs, billions and billions of dollars. Nova Scotia has to raise money after a hurricane for essentials of life, but they've got enough money to finance the war in Ukraine. She resigned from Justin Trudeau's cabinet when it became clear that she was the finance minister as well. Actually, she's the one who froze bank accounts. It was her directive to freeze bank accounts during the trucker protest. She's stepping down as MP on Friday because she's accepting a Ukraine role as sitting MP. Oh, because she's accepting the role as financial advisor to Herr Volodymyr Zelensky. I saw this tweet and I legit thought it was a joke. It was Volodymyr Zelensky saying, while she's still a sitting MP, by the way, today this is a leader of a foreign country. And in my view, a tyrant who is now ruling not as a legitimate president, but as a legitimate bona fide dictator because he suspended elections. So, what was good for Maduro, hey, why wouldn't it be good for Zelensky? He actually tweets this. Today, I appointed Chrystia Freeland as an advisor on economic development. Chrystia is highly skilled in these matters and has extensive experience in attracting investment and implementing economic transformations. Yeah, she invested a whole hell of a lot of Canadian taxpayer dollars to Ukraine. Right now, Ukraine needs to. Oh, come on, no, I need to get the full thing. Yeah, I got it right. Yada. Where was it? Right now, Ukraine needs to strengthen its internal resilience, both for the sake of Ukraine's recovery, if diplomacy delivers results as swiftly as possible, and to reinforce our defense if, because of the delays by our partners, seems like a shot at Trump if I'm not mistaken, but it takes longer to bring this war to an end. I am grateful to everyone who is ready to support our state and our engagement with partners. Glory to Ukraine. Slava Ukraini, which you've now heard multiple Canadian politicians, including the so-called leader of the so-called Conservative Party and the so-called Opposition Party of Canada, Pierre Mousfort Poilievre. The sitting MP, former Minister of Finance, former Deputy Prime Minister, has been appointed as an economic advisor to the country that she's been funneling money to for the last 4 years. Well, the Conservative Party, though, they've issued a very strongly worded letter. Former Liberal Cabinet Minister Chrystia Freeland says she'll step down as Member of Parliament Friday, marking the end of an era of the party. The high-profile MP accepted on Monday what's being described as a voluntary role advising Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. She indicated she'd be leaving in the coming weeks. I have written to the Speaker. I will be leaving. Okay, fine. Going forward, I will continue to support and help build Canada in every way I can, while championing the brave fight of the people of Ukraine, a cause I have been committed to my entire life. Oh, we know that, Chrystia. It's when we accuse people of dual loyalties, and this is why I say you cannot serve in the government and have dual passports, dual citizenship. You can't. This woman has arguably, but not arguably, been more loyal to Ukraine, Zelensky, the money laundering machine, and the people of Ukraine than to her own constituents for years. Freeland, who has Ukrainian ancestry. No shit, Sherlock. You might want to look up some of her Nazi Ukrainian ancestry. Alleged. Was deputy prime minister between 2019 and 2024 and the country's first woman to serve as finance minister. She has long been one of Canada's most vocal opponents of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. One-time Liberal leader, hopeful, has represented the downtown Toronto seat, yada, yada, yada. Opposition, conflicts of interest. The Conservatives have been urging Freeland to resign immediately. It's deeply concerning that Chrystia Freeland has accepted a job, yada, yada. Beyond the fact that serving Canadians is not a part-time job, the position she's accepted with a foreign government, paid or unpaid, raises questions of whose interests will be prioritized. It raises questions as to whose interests have been prioritized. She has been a Ukrainian asset in Canadian government for the last several years. Nothing new. You got a bunch of Chinese assets in Canadian government. You got some Indian assets in Canadian government. What you have a very few of are Canadian assets in the Canadian government. A source close to Freeland said her initial plan was for her to resign her seat and then take up the Zelensky advisor position, but Ukrainians moved up the announcement. The source previously said Zelensky asked Freeland to take on the role during a visit on December. She approached Mark Carney on December 24. Carney has previously appointed her as Canada's new special representative for the reconstruction of Ukraine, a role she said she's now giving up. She's giving up the role that would have seen her giving money to Ukraine after having given money to Ukraine and is now working, advising Zelensky, Ukraine. Go to Ukraine. Go join your ancestry. It would have been better off for Canada if you had done that 4 years ago.